Welcome to Daily Divinity. We're talking about the swords. We are talking specifically about the Seven of Swords. Excuse me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being curious. The agenda for this video is to get into 3 words about the Seven of Swords to overview, general, that you can kind of adjust as needed to your particular reading, situation, etc. 3 words, visual description of what's going on with the imagery. We'll talk about the meaning of that imagery and get into the different decks that I um, have and the different interpretations of the Seven of Swords. And then finally, we will end with guiding questions that may help you to interpret for yourself and make it applicable to your life. Um, so that the answers are self-directed. Okay, so let's dive in. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I would love to hear from you. This is a very new channel at this moment of being recorded, and so if you like, comment, and subscribe, you can kind of direct and help me to navigate where this is headed, which would be so appreciated. So, okay, Seven of Swords. The 3 words that I would use to describe the Seven of Swords. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to preface this by saying that there is a popular meaning of this card, and then there is my version of it, which I've heard some other tarot interpreters agree with me on this. I'm going to refer to Dr. Elliot Adam as well as Learn Tarot with Sue, they're both on YouTube, and the I the popular word for the Seven of Swords would be sneaky or a thief. The figure that you see in this card is walking away with 5 swords from something. And so it's very popularly the words would be, he's a thief or he is a sneaky thief. I'm not with that. I don't think that that's the case. It might be the case, but I think usually it is not the case. Okay, what are my 3 words? Let's hop to divine, daily, divinity. Okay, wit, number 1, wit. The swords are a card that represent air, which represents the mind, the head, the thoughts, the beliefs. Cunning. This mother is cunning, is clever. Whatever word you want to use for that wit, cleverness, smart, cunning. Seven of Swords. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I would say trickery, some kind of like sleight of hand situation going on in this card. That's, I think, inescapable, undeniable. Which brings us to our 3rd word that I would use, which is escape. Also, inescapable and undeniable fact about this card is that the figure is clearly trying to get away from something. He's looking behind him. We'll get into this in the imagery, in the visual description, but it's an escape. Like, he has used his cleverness to trick someone to escape, is how we combine these words. All right, visual description. I'm gonna I'm gonna go through the environment of the card first, so the kind of collective background, and then talk about the figure, and then go further into detail about the figure and some smaller aspects of the card. The background of this card is yellow. at least in the Rider-Waite version. Um, and that is an important element and observation, which we will get into the meaning of it later. The ground, which could be brown or red or whatever, is also yellow. So basically the entire background is yellow, except for in the middle, there is a kind of a strip of a town in the distance. Meaning on that coming up. The town is primarily to the right of the card, and the figure is primarily to the left of the card, and with footing that is moving even further left. AKA, he's already pretty far away from this town, and he's going even further away. Is the direction and movement of the figure in relation to the background and the town in the background. What else do we see? I think we might see a mountain in the background, kind of maybe a hill more, and there are flags on top of those buildings that are in the town. The flags are on top of the buildings, signifying a kind of a identification. Um, then the figure, the Seven of Swords figure himself, he is large and in charge. He is takes up about, I don't know, 60% of the card. So quite a bit of the card, right? So whereas the buildings take up maybe, I don't know, 15% of the area, the square footage, the figure, he's taking up most of it. He's large. And to me that says that he has a kind of confidence about him. But again, let's try to Daily Divinity stick to the agenda. Okay. So this figure, as I mentioned, he is walking away from the town. Let's go from top to bottom. At the top, he is wearing a hat that is red. The hat I just learned from Learn Tarot with Sue, who I highly recommend, a tarot reader and explainer on YouTube. She did some digging, and yeah, you can watch Sue's channel for more on the interesting history of the Fez and what that could signify. So, um, but it is red, which is notable, not just because that means that it's a Fez, but also because red is the color of passion and power. He is wearing a yellow kind of outfit, loose outfit, tunic perhaps, bright yellow tunic, and bright blue pants, leggings of some kind, and then red, either socks or red boots. And importantly, his feet are in like tiptoe position. Like his feet are not fully planted. Um, so here he is in movement, right? Clearly in movement. His legs are bent, his feet are like shifted in walking stance, in tiptoe stance. And he's in this loose yellow tunic. He's got this red hat and red shoes, signifying the passion and power perhaps of his head and the passion and power perhaps of his feet, right? Um, Swords. Let's bring the swords into this mix. He is holding 5 swords, and there are 2 swords planted behind him. He is holding 5 swords, and 2 of them are in one hand, 3 of them are in another. He's looking behind him, so he's looking kind of past the 3 swords to the town. And he can see that there are two swords still behind him, but they're not in his hand. They are planted firmly, vertically into the ground. These swords are blue, kind of icy blue, a little silver, and they've got some level of design to them that I don't think is very intricate, but the last thing to note about the Seven of Swords is his face. You can see his face. Not in all tarot cards, sometimes you know that there's a person there, either because there's a building there, or there's an actual figure there, but you can maybe only see the top of their head, or their facial expression is a little bit missing in action. But in this case, it's it's fairly more or less easy to tell that he's not upset, he's not in pain, he's not overjoyed either, but he's confident. Like he's almost smiling. Okay, let's get into the meaning of this card. So as I mentioned, a lot of people take this card to be he's a thief and there's a better way and he's making the wrong choice. Now I should say, while the swords are representative, the suit of the swords are representative of the mind and what you think and how you believe and how, the seven in the tarot is about choice. Um, is about decisions. The Seven of Cups, for example, is a kind of a lack of ability to land on a decision. The Seven of Pentacles is about sitting with your decisions and like reflecting and appreciating all that you've decided to do and have done. I would say. The Seven of Swords, on the other hand, this guy, I personally think, um, it's a card about difficult decisions that are difficult to make at all, and he kind of makes it even more difficult by, this is something I did not mention, that learned tarot with Sue. She pointed this out and I was like, oh my God, that's so true. He's holding the swords by the blade, not by the handle or the guard or whatever that's called. He's holding them by the blade, by the sharp bl so I mean, I don't know why his hands aren't like bleeding profusely, but they're not. Maybe he's got like secret invisible gloves on, but he's not wounded. He is holding them by the blade, which to me signifies that he needed to just get up and go. He wasn't thinking about how to hold these strategically. He was just like, the strategy here is I need to get out of this town. I need to go. I need to get these weapons and I need to go. So he was thinking about the priority, which was to get these five swords and go. Um, what he was not thinking about was like how to do this in the best way. So I would posit that the meaning of this card could be perhaps about making a difficult decision in a more nuanced, thoughtful manner, right? Because he's I'm not going to say he's rushing, he's not running or anything, but the way he's looking back at the town to me says he's not, you know, slowly leaving either. Like he's ready. He's ready to be out of there. Um, and he's using his wit and his cleverness to do that. And he is, I would, if this is about trickery and being a thief, my argument is that he is doing this because he thinks he has to or does have to in some way. Um, Dr. Elliot Adam uh, says that the Seven of Swords is a card of like doing what you have to, even when it's perhaps not the best move for everyone, but it is the best move for you. Like, yeah, maybe you are taking a town's weapons. Maybe that town was about to hurt you or did hurt you, and you are taking the weapons because you don't want to get hurt anymore. You're doing what you have to. You're making a difficult decision, and you're making it in a way that is difficult because you have to make it somehow. So you just do. You just do it. Okay. Here on the side of the Rider-Waite card, so there's the yellow background of the Rider-Waite with the Seven of Swords, and then to the left you have the other representations, which are the Seven of Winter and the Seven of Bats. And in the Seven of Winter, it says there is a better choice, not seeing things clearly, running away from the truth. I have seen the running away from the truth meaning in other interpretations, and I've and I and I kind of get what they're saying by not seeing things clearly. Here's my here's my counterpoint to that. Do you see how much yellow is in this picture? Yellow is a color that signifies awareness, um, like the sun, right? Like you see something that you didn't see before. It's a light has shone on that thing. You are aware of it, you see it clearly, you maybe even appreciate it, right? It's a color of joy and confidence. Now, I don't think I personally maybe there is a better way to see things more clearly, but I don't I would argue that this card is not unaware. Because how can there be this much yellow in a Rider-Waite tarot card and this figure not be aware? Um, is he running away from the truth? I again, like I don't. I think he's holding his truth and getting away from a place where it is not appreciated, where it is not seen as the truth. His truth is not the town's truth, so he's getting away from the town. He's doing again. I think my daily divinity version of the meaning of this card is choosing what you have to, choosing a difficult decision in a very wit what is the adjective of in a witty and clever and cunning way, because again you're in a difficult spot. And so yes, okay, you could maybe hold the swords not by the blade, or you could, I don't know, take one sword. I don't know, maybe there is a better way to make this difficult decision, but I think this is a resourceful card. Okay, so that's the meaning. The different decks, right? So we were okay, right. Seven of Winter, there is a better choice, not seeing things clearly, running away from the truth. Seven of Bats. I think what's notable in the Halloween deck version is that um, he's wearing a mask. He doesn't want to be seen. He's a clown in this version of it, and I think the fact that he's wearing a mask says kind of doubles down on this, like he's trying to be sneaky and not be caught, and so he's being very cunning and strategic. Um, questions, guiding questions. What is a difficult decision that you are making or considering making right now? What complexity are you not considering? What nuance could you tap into to make this an even better decision? Again, what nuance could you harness to make this an even better decision, to make the decision even better? And the last thing I would say in terms of questions is, what are your needs? Specifically, what are your unmet needs at this time? And how can you meet them? How can you take what you need? How can you choose what you need in spite of perhaps the town or the environment that you are coming from? How can you be resourceful? How can you be cunning? All right, I know I'm throwing a lot of question marks out there, but use these questions to guide you through the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is like any other tarot card, it's supposed to be good advice, whether it is harsh to hear, whether it hurts your ego, whatever, but it can be good advice, a good suggestion, a useful, helpful suggestion, if you can tap into that. Okay, so like, comment, subscribe, email, let me know how it's going, how you're liking it. May you carry forth appropriate Seven of Swords attitude. May you meet your needs in spite of a world that sometimes says fuck your needs. Stay divine.